welcome to my channel. I'm Rebecca. I'm an animal communicator and spiritual medium. If you followed me for a while and you have been on my Instagram account, you will know that a few months ago I had a message from the animal kingdom telling me that animals were going to be showing up more in humanity's lives to help us with our ascension and awakening process. And because of the work I do, I'm interacting with animals all of the time. So I wasn't entirely sure how that was going to look. But I've actually been aware of how this looks this week. And it's been quite funny because I've just made a post over on Instagram with a request that I'd had this week from the bees and from the birds. And they were incredibly vocal in asking for assistance because it's been really hot where I am in the UK. And the first request was from the bees, and this big bumblebee came to me and said, you know, when you're watering your garden on the hot days, could you possibly do it before the sun goes down? Because obviously when the sun goes down, the animals start getting ready to retreat and go back to their hives, their nests, their homes for the night. And they said, please, could you do it before the sun goes down? Excuse me, because then we can follow in your footsteps, so they can kind of follow you around the garden, and we can get a drink when water is scarce. And I've always noticed when I've been watering my garden anyway in the summertime that the bees will often follow me, and I hadn't really thought much of it because I'm interacting with them all the time. I guess not really taking it for granted, but it was something I was used to. So it hadn't really dawned on me because I had that kind of companionship relationship with them. It hadn't dawned on me that actually I was inadvertently providing a service to them. I always place a bowl of water out in the warm sunny days. And this is something that I would suggest to you to do as well. A bowl of water with some big rocks and things in it, so that you can allow for the birds and also for smaller insects like the bees to be able to come down and get a drink without the risk of drowning. They can actually balance on the rocks and then they can drink safely. So I've always done that, but I hadn't made this connection with the bees following me around when I was watering the garden. So that was the first request. And then again in the same week, the pigeons said to me, when it's really hot, us bigger birds actually we stay, and we stay in place and we shelter from the warm weather, so that they'll stay up high in the trees where it's a bit more shady, and they will wait so that they conserve their energy during the heat, and they will come down to feed later in the day. And as I've said in lots of my videos, I have lots of birds that come to my garden and I kind of know their feeding patterns anyway. But this was a real kind of teaching moment for me because I had realised that I hadn't really seen them coming down. I'd seen the other birds coming, but there's an actual reason for it. And they wanted me to say to people, please don't forget about us. If you are kind enough, they really appreciate the people that do gift them food. And they say that, please don't forget about us. Could you possibly refill your bird feeders again a bit later in the day in the warm weather, so that the bigger birds that have been sheltering in the shade, conserving their energy, can come down and still feed and they won't miss out. So I really loved that this week because they were being very vocal. It's almost like the feeling I get is the time is now. They're now coming forward and they're not demanding, they're asking. They want us to work in harmony with them. But they're being very vocal about it now. It's almost like we've tried to give you the kind of like the little, the little subtle signs. And now we're presenting ourselves to actually say to you, this is what we need. This is how we can work together to live in harmony. And I think it's just so beautiful. But it did make me laugh because both of them were very kind of like to the point. This is what we need. Come on, sort yourselves out. So please take those things on board from the bees and from the birds. But also it's a little nudge for us to be more aware of the animals, the insects that we encounter in our day-to-day lives. I was sitting reading a book the other day, and I had a tiny little green fly that landed on my hand, and I was mesmerized by it, and I was kind of interacting with it, and it just wanted to have a little rest. It had been flying around, and it was just having a little rest, and it was like, I'm just going to stop here for a while. And I think so many times people will see, insects, bugs, things like that, and they'll flick them off, which most of the time with such delicate little things like green flies, that's going to kill them. A big finger and thumb flicking them off of you is actually going to kill them. Everything is living a life. Everything is working, working in harmony in nature. They all have a part to play. And so it really is. It's almost like the natural world works in harmony. It's now time for humanity to catch up. And I think this is going to be a huge part of our ascension process, is understanding that, we're not up here. We're here. We're on the same level, and everything deserves respect, and everything can work in harmony together. And what we will find is, working in harmony, being more understanding, more open-hearted, and more open-minded about every living thing that we share the earth with, it will become really beautiful and beneficial for all of us, which is lovely. And that's something that I struggle with a lot with humanity. Many people will only do things that benefit them. We have become quite selfish, I think. And I think a lot of that, I think I've said before in other videos, a lot of that comes down to fear. It's like that self-preservation energy. And it's important, it's important to look after yourself. But we also have to remember that, we benefit on a daily basis, like with the trees. We benefit from the hard work that they do by gifting us the oxygen that we breathe that keeps us alive. Without the trees, we don't survive. And they're things that we see every day and we don't really think of. We're on autopilot. We see the trees. They're always there. We don't think anything of them. We need to start thinking deeper. And this is what the natural world, the animal kingdom, Mother Earth is urging us to do, to actually, rather than us being here and everything else being over here, to actually immerse ourselves, to blend with everything, to realize we are a part of everything. I had the most amazing experience communicating with Mother Earth this week. Excuse me. I was in deep contemplation about the fact that, in the UK, they're talking about dimming the sun, which is utterly ridiculous and dangerous. But I had kind of transported back to reminding myself of a time when, I think it was last year, I had been out walking my dog, and my dog had encouraged me to go through this little area that was overgrown on a track that we often walk. And there's a big mound of earth. It's kind of like, it's nothing toxic, but it's like rubble and things that have been moved there, old building things that have been moved there. And it's just this huge big pile. And I was thinking it was too overgrown to walk that way. But on this day, my dog had really insisted that we should go. So I was like, okay, then we'll go. Because what I have learned is that if our animals are telling us anything, they are very good at knowing what is good for them. And they also know what is good for us and what we need in any given moment. They are highly intuitive. And so we walked down this pathway. And as we rounded the corner to where this huge mound of rubble and earth was, I was absolutely blown away to see it was completely covered with grass and wildflowers, and it was beautiful. And I was so surprised, and I thanked my dog for showing me. And my dog had said to me, you needed to see it. And in that moment, I just had this beautiful feeling of, everything will be okay. And at that time, Mother Earth had said to me, man is foolish if it thinks it can control, me. And she had said that she would rise up. And again, I am seeing this now. And you may be noticing it. You may be noticing it at a subtle level, or if you are highly attuned to your surroundings, you may be really noticing it. This year, I smiled to myself because this year I saw so many dandelions at the start of when they start coming out. So many dandelions, and dandelions are really, really important because they are the first food for the bees, the pollinators. Before the other flowers start to bloom, they are the first food. So it's super important that they are left in place. And again, you don't want to use pesticides and things on them because the bees will take that back to their hive and then it kills the bees. And bees are a vital part of our ecosystem. But I smiled to myself this year because I was like, she knows, with all of the destruction that is going on the planet, she knows. And so she knows what she needs, and she knows what the inhabitants of her need. And so she was carpeting the earth with so many dandelions. And I just smiled to myself because I was like, it's already happening. And now, in the last 2 weeks, I've had conversations with people that don't consider themselves spiritual, people that, there's a lot of things that are going on that they are yet to awaken to, but they've said, haven't you noticed? It's really weird. Everything is bigger and brighter. Like, there's more flowers. The grass is so much greener. Like, have you noticed all the different shades of green? And it's really just filled my heart with joy because, yes, I have noticed. And after having several of these conversations, I was talking to Mother Earth this week about it. And her message was, you hear us. You hear us. I am awakening. We are rising up. The natural world is rising up. We are taking back what is ours. And I can't even tell you, I could actually hear, whether you have those recordings of they've had recordings of space and sounds of things on a vibrational level. I could hear her song, her this awakening, this energy. She allowed me to hear it, and it was so beautiful. It's so hard to put into words. It sounded like a cross between just real ethereal, angelic singing with whale song. It was just so immersive. I just can't put it into words. And she said, you hear us. And this is her song. This is her. She has been stirred into, this rising up. And it's like she's finally taking back what is hers. The animals are being more present to make us listen. And Mother Earth is a brilliant teacher. She will always try in gentle ways to teach us. But when we fail to listen, she will, like a cornered animal or like a human that is threatened, she will protect what is hers. And I feel like she has come to that time where she's like, gentle, now I'm speaking up. And this burst of life, all of these bright colours, everything being bigger, bolder, stronger, is that sign. It's that sign of she's ascending too. She's moving into this new era of her being. Her energy has shifted. She's been healing, cleansing, releasing. And things like when we have big natural disasters, like truly natural disasters, with volcanoes erupting and things like that, that is part of a cleansing and healing process for her, and for her letting go of what she no longer needs. And just this, seeing all of this life everywhere, is literally her bursting into life. She is making her presence known in a way that she hasn't before. And it's beautiful. It's just beautiful to witness. If you haven't realized it yet and you haven't perhaps noticed it, just go out and have a look and you will see. I'm noticing, I'm very in touch. I love gardening. I'm very in touch with all of the plants that I grow in my garden. And everything is bigger this year. It's bigger, it's brighter, it's bolder. There's more flowers. I count the flowers like on my clematis. I count the flowers every year. There's more this year. And it's just, I can't really even put it into words. It's just this beautiful energy of like uplifting, excitement of everything is going to be okay. And I'm reminded of, when you've seen these videos of like abandoned amusement parks or abandoned houses and things like that, eventually nature moves back in and she takes back what is hers, ivy and things, moss. Things will start to grow over the buildings and into the buildings, weaving their way back in, making this abandoned thing part of nature once more. And it's just to remind us that we are a part of nature. We are all a part of something bigger than us, and we can live harmoniously. And it's almost like there's no angry energy with Mother Earth. She's not like, you will live in harmony with me or else. She's a teacher and she's learning and growing herself. But this is an energy of, the time is now. I'm standing up. I'm taking back what is mine. She's happy for us to be here, but she commands respect, and she's doing it in such a beautiful way. And the animals are, I said before, like, when I think it was when I did the post on Instagram about how the animals would be becoming more present, what they had shown me was all of the animals were kind of coming towards me and sitting like in a semicircle, all different animals. And it reminded me of, I don't know if you've ever seen the TV show, the cartoon Animals of Farthing Wood. In the opening credits, they all kind of get together. I think it's like on a bank. They all kind of get together and they're all standing together. And it reminded me of this. It's like they're all coming together to teach us, to make us more aware, to encourage us to open our hearts and to be more open to learning and understanding them. But also, excuse me, also they want us to come together. And that is what we are so lacking. We not only view ourselves as separate from the natural world, we view ourselves as separate from each other. And that is something that I think that both the animal kingdom and Mother Earth have a really hard time kind of processing with us, because they look at us and they're like, but we are all one, we're all the same. It doesn't matter where you are, it doesn't matter, rich or poor, old or young, none of that matters. We should be all coming together, learning, growing, and helping each other along. But I just feel this, it's just a beautiful energy. It's an energy of uplifting, joy, and if it was a colour, it would just be vibrant gold, like beautiful sunshine. And yeah, beautiful sunshine and flowers and the animal kingdom, just beautiful. It's like just paradise is the energy. And it's almost really saying to us, this is happening all around us. Mother Earth is doing her bit. She's learning, growing, releasing and healing. The animal kingdom is doing their bit. They're working to try to assist us. Now they're asking us to do our bit, to open our hearts, to open our minds, to open our hearts to each other, to remember who we are, to remember that we are a part of something much greater than us, and to know that if we want life to be better and we want the world to seem like a better place, then we have to take action and we have to do our part too. I'll leave that with you today. I hope that you will go outside and you will see what I'm talking about in the natural world. Do let me know in the comments if you've already noticed it, if you are aware of it, if you can feel this bright, new, joyful energy that's coming in. And just know that, Mother Earth has said that it doesn't matter what humanity tries to do. We will never be able to control her. She is here for a purpose. She is a bringer and a giver of life. But she is commanding respect and she will not be messed with. So I'll leave that with you today. Thank you so much for listening. If you are interested in more of the human experience, the spiritual mediumship side of things, not relating to Mother Earth and the animal kingdom, please do head over to my other YouTube channel, which is Spirit Journey of Enlightenment. That's the same as my Instagram also, if you would like to follow me there. Please do like the video. I know a lot of people watch the videos and they don't leave a like, but it does really help to get these important messages out to a wider community. Thank you once again, and I will speak to you again soon. Take care.